Befriending someone on Facebook is like a 10 with herpes. Flashy at first glance, but ultimately worthless. It's also funny that Angie was telling people key in my car, breaking and entering, eating my sandwich. These are just some of the crazy things my ex did. So here's a story about the wildest person I've ever been with, named Angie. It was my third year at college, and I was heading to the woods to smoke when I see a woman hysterically crying. I was like, hey girl, you look like you're having a rough go of it. You want to smoke some sticky icky?
Randomly in the woods?
And says, sure. So we began walking to the woods, and all I could think about was how easy it'd be to kidnap her. She had no idea who I was, and now we're walking somewhere where no one would hear her scream. Talk about rookie mistake.
Creepy,
but
man.
For her, I had morals and no rope. Anyway, she introduced herself. Hey, I'm Angie. Pleasure to meet you, Angie. I'm Steve Storms. You're lying. Nope, that's my real name. That's crazy.
Steve
I have a thunderstorm
Storms.
tattoo in the back of my neck. Here, push my hair aside and you'll see. So I stand behind her, palm her hair, and immediately get aroused. Johnson's like, whoa, we doing this right now?
Yes, sir.
Step one. What was that? Oh, yeah, lovely tattoo. Anyway, we get to the woods and we're laughing, having a good time when I say, so what got you all hot and bothered? Well, I just broke up with my boyfriend. Johnson's like, game on.
This girl is on the rebound. If there's a girl who is super easy to sleep with, it is a girl who just broke up with her boyfriend because, she's trying to make up for like lost time. She's trying to find a guy who she deems better than him so she can like flaunt it on social media. Guys, this is time to strike. Strike while the iron is hot. This is the moment when she just broke up with her boyfriend. She is on the rebound. I
said, oh, that's terrible to hear. All while barely making eye contact. She was wearing a low-cut shirt, and it was cold outside. A little hard to make eye contact, Plus, drugs were impacting my decision-making. Sober me is respectful me.
I feel
High
you.
me is fun bags pretty. So after our smoke session, I spit some game and get her number. Now, I had planned on giving her some time to recover, as she just went through a rough breakup, but after a few days of texting, my Johnson's
You don't have to give her too much
So I
time.
invite her back to my place for a movie. She agrees, and for the first 20 minutes, things are going well, until she brings up her RA. Talk about how hot he is and how sometimes she sneak into his room and hide under his covers. Needless to say, this was a huge turn off.
What?
Like a deflated
She
balloon
told you that?
So once the movie was done, I asked her to leave. The next
Turn
day,
off.
she goes back to flirt texting me, but I wasn't having it. I'm like, girl, why are you writing this to me? Shouldn't you be sending this to your RA? She goes, no, it's not like that. We're just friends. I'm like, yeah.
They're never
okay.
just
Emma
friends.
Johnson's like, psst, psst, remember those nips? I'm like, damn, Jim Dog, you make a compelling argument. Well, I guess I could give her another chance. So I invite her over again for another movie, but this time my roommates aren't leaving. They're like, we gave you the room the other day and you dropped the ball. I'm like, that's
fair.
point. Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll just all watch it together. 10
You
minutes
dropped
in,
the
and she
ball.
starts texting me. This movie's boring. Wish we were doing something more interesting. Winky face. For a moment, I said out loud, hey, Ange, you want to go in my room? Sure. Then 2 quick high fives to my roommates later, and we're doing the dirty. And this chick was wild. Moaning.
It was that easy? Oh yeah, that's a keeper. That's an eater right there. That's a gobbler. That is a gobbler right there, and you do not get rid of the gobblers. You keep the gobblers right under your wing, You may not date the gobblers, or chicken head, as just some of y'all may call them, but you keep them in arm's length in case you ever need it. It's a lonely night. You're just feeling like you need something. You hit up the chicken head. You hit up the eater. Man, you don't just simply drop an eater. Is that even possible?
Torning her body, whispering in my ear, you're so big. It was magical. Afterwards, I'd even smoked cigarettes and somehow had one in my mouth. I'm like, damn, girl, that's some good fucking. Anyway, Angie came over again a few days after, and a few days after that, and then she started coming over every day. Best part was, she would leave afterwards.
Oh my gosh! She would leave?
What more could a college student want? But what I neglected
amazing.
to realize was
Beautiful.
how lazy it'd make me. You see, when a guy's hunting for Kitty, he's on his A game, freshly trimmed, looking sharp, and smelling like a burrito in a nightclub. But when Kitty's guaranteed, we get lazy. I'll give you an
Very
example.
lazy, that's
Every
true.
Tuesday and Thursday, I'd go to karate in the morning. Afterwards, I'd head back to my room where Angie be in my bed waiting for me.
Oh,
now,
just
normally
waiting.
I shower first.
Lovely.
I just sweat my balls off. But one day
Ugh.
she presses me up against the door and starts me. I'm like, damn, girl, if you don't care, I don't care. And this only made me get lazier.
She
'Cause not only did I
nasty.
stop showering before baby making, but I stopped showering after. That stank just be following me around from class to class. Why does it smell like shit and shame in here? And because Poon was guaranteed, I stopped hunting for Kitty altogether. Why go to the bar and spoon feed White Claws into a chick when I already had one back in my room, ready to swallow whatever I gave her? None of that, hey, let's go dancing for 45 minutes as I dry hump you into thinking I'd be good in the bedroom.
Now when you already got guaranteed pussy lay in your bed back at the crib, you're not even gonna care about no woman in the club, bro. like, you know, a nigga like me, like, I'm still gonna shoot, but like knowing that I got guaranteed at home, bro, I'm not gonna be stressed at all. And I have a girl. So like, this is all old me. I have a girl. This is all old me. But when you have guaranteed already, bro, it just makes life just a million times better. You're no longer stressed. You don't care if you get rejected by that girl in the club because, like, you finna go home to some anyway. So, like, you just start throwing out Hail Marys. Like, you just start throwing out the wildest shots ever. And you don't even care if they land or if you make it, bro, because you already got some at home. I feel him.
She's already in my bed twerking. So this continued for the rest of the semester until we were about to head home for the summer. Angie texts me saying, come to my room. We need to talk.
Oh,
now,
no.
Normally I'd be freaking out, thinking she's
Is she pregnant?
But there's no way. Because sure, we were talking on the regs, but she was so good at taking birth control. Every day at 4 p.m., no matter what was happening, she'd snap and say, pills. It's not even like she set alarms. She just had a baby-ending spider sense.
Pills.
Die, kid. So I went up to her room and she says, do you want to date? Because you'll be living off campus next year, and this won't be as simple as going down a flight of stairs to see one another. That's a good point. You know what? Let me think about it.
You gonna date an eater?
And I was like, oh, hell no. Because even though we had great chemistry in the bedroom, the bitch never laughed at my jokes. I'd be killing in the school pool, and she'd just be floating there motionless, like Matthew Perry's corpse. Start swimming, buddy.
You gotta laugh at my jokes, man.
And let her down the best way I could. She
even if it's not funny.
Right, not realizing her brain was beginning to tweak. That summer, I'm on Facebook, posting on a bunch of hotties' walls, not realizing Ange was seeing this, bugging the fuck out. So much so, she would call up my friends hysterically crying. Friends be like,
oh, no.
You aren't dating, so what's the problem? The problem being, Ange's feelings had tied up her logic, and had no plans of setting them free. Fast forward to the beginning of fall semester, and my roommates and I are having a party. Things are going great until Ange comes over and starts cock-blocking the shit out of me.
Oh, that's so ugly!
At one point, she sits down in the middle of a Kings game.
What are you
going,
doing?
Play. We're kind of in the middle of, whatever, here's some cards. So I go back to macking on the chick next to me when Ange says, I have to go to the bathroom. Ladies, come with me. Keep in mind, she doesn't know any of the women there. So they all pile in the bathroom, and looking at the guys going, this isn't good. A few minutes later, they come out, and surprise, surprise, none of them want to play anymore.
Yep.
What did you say to them?
She screwed you over.
I'm like, all right, that's it, bitch. Get the f*** out. She starts to cry, pretending she's the victim.
You already know what she did. She explained to them, oh yeah, I used to smash him all the time. I used to come home after class and just go straight to his room. And like, he was an asshole. Like, I thought I liked him at first, but he's really an asshole. So don't fall for it late. So like, she said something along those lines, just super meat blocked you. So now you're not going to get with any of those girls you invited to your party. Yeah, this chick is crazy. She need to learn how to move on, bruh.
But I could care less. I knew with her around, I was never getting laid. So I said, get out of here. A few days later, I'm walking to a bar when I see one of my friends across the street. I'm like, Adrian. He looks at me and keeps walking. But my drunk ass is like, well, maybe he didn't recognize me. So I run over and I'm like, hey, homie. Adrian was being real apprehensive. And I'm like, what's wrong, man?
What's going on, man?
Horrible? If I did, I'm sorry. Nah, I thought you were angry at me. Why would I be angry at you? Well, Ange said, that's crazy. But even though we hashed things out, I was still super pissed. Because if Ange is telling this guy I don't want to speak to him, then she's probably doing it to others. Now I'm missing out on connections and experiences because some is lying about me? Oh, I was heated. So drunk me thought, what is the meanest thing I could do right now? I could call her some basic insult like punt or bore, but I'm crafty and I can do better than that. Then
I gotta do better.
It hit me. You see, the last time we were and I thought, you know what? This doesn't feel that tight. So while I was doing her, I stuck in a finger, then two fingers. Then I stuck my whole hand. Now, my hand was curled, but that's still a lot of digits to cram.
Whole hand?
I came up with the greatest nickname ever, Whole Hand Ange.
Whole Hand Ange.
Kiss of insults. So I text Angie that her new nickname around campus is Whole Hand Ange.
How does she respond to this, bro?
She did not take it very well.
She bust the windows at your car.
Death threats. It's really brightened up my day, you know? The next day I get a text from a number I don't recognize, and it turns out it's Ange's sister. She goes on this huge rant of, you have no idea who you're messing with.
Oh, brother.
I'll ruin your life for disrespecting
you sending your sister after me?
My homies,
oh, brother.
Laugh, and now we're spitballing ideas of things to write back when I say, hey, how about I respect your sister. I wash my hand before playing her like a puppet. Even my buddies are like, bro,
that's a little too dark.
So I wrote it out.
Too dark,
I was about to send when I started to have second thoughts. Because normally my brain always picks the funny option, regardless of how much trouble it will get me in. 'Tis my how to your high school teacher video. But in this one moment, I thought, you know what? I probably should let this go. However, I didn't let anything else go. Over the next few weeks, I'd get DMs from guys on Facebook threatening to beat the shit out of me, and I'd always respond back with, "You are adorable." Because I get they're trying to protect someone who's spoon-feeding them lies, but threatening someone on Facebook is like a 10 with herpes. Flashy at first glance, but ultimately worthless. It's also funny that Angie was telling people I'm harassing her, and
Ultimately
she's encouraging
worthless.
people to harass me. Like, damn girl, you don't see any projection here? And even though she seemed hyper-fixated on me, I could care less about her. Because no matter how many times we I never loved her. So I didn't have this emotional desire.
Oh my gosh, that is brutal. No matter how many times we smashed, I never loved her. That's how it be sometimes. That's really how it be. Like, you can't just expect somebody to love you because you let them get up all in your guts. That's not how you find love, especially from a man. You give it up to a man too easily, bro, we're never gonna love you. Like, you gotta make it a little bit of a challenge, but also at the same time, not too much of a challenge, because nobody likes a tease. There's a fine line. There's like a perfect spot. You just gotta know when you're hitting it.
Desire to get revenge, but I did enjoy seeing her because every time we'd bump into each other, she'd scream, "I fucking hate you!" And just think for a moment how much power that is. My mere presence is enough to ruin someone's
Living in
day.
your head rent free.
It made me so happy. But this only added to Angie's insanity, and in December, I get a phone call from Campus PD telling me to come down to the station. Obviously, I'm really nervous, because 95% of the time when a girl says a guy's harassing her, she's right. But luckily, the cops were very reasonable.
A woman named Angie is claiming you're harassing her. Now, we've heard her side of the story. We'd like to hear yours.
So the first thing I told him is,
we hear you out.
regs.
Wait a minute. You used to have a romantic relationship?
Yeah, why do you think all this is happening? The cop just rolls his eyes and says,
Continue.
Then I showed him all the threatening texts and messages I got, and by the end of it, the officer was completely on my side. However, because police were called on a student, I also had to go speak to the director of student affairs. And this bitch was the polar opposite.
Oh no, Karen!
She just listing threats. Harassment of students will not be tolerated. You could be expelled. After minutes of listening to this chick rant, I said, "So, you've only heard one side of a story and immediately came to a conclusion? Huh, I didn't realize an accusation was a conviction. Maybe you should take some of my criminal justice classes and see how gathering evidence is important when it comes to a potential crime." Needless to say, she was pissed, but I just sat there arms crossed like, "I know you got nothing, bitch." Fast forward to Valentine's Day, and I'm dating this lovely girl named Rachel. We're both walking on campus holding hands when we
and
bump
then
into
Ange comes.
goes ballistic, screaming, fuck you, you piece of shit." My girl starts chewing her out, saying, "He doesn't want your stinky cooter anymore, you flat-faced bitch." I'm laughing.
Ooh, you got girls fighting over you now? Hold on, man. This man just have the sauce. He got the juice. He got the aura, as you young kids be calling it nowadays. Two girls fighting over you.
Laughing, dragging my girl away, saying it's not worth it. Just ignore her. The next day, I get another call from campus police, so I go down to the station and speak to the same officer who says,
"So we got more complaints of harassment?"
"Officer, I've done my best to avoid her. And in the time I've spoken to you, I've only bumped into her once on Valentine's Day when I was with my girlfriend." Officer was trying to remain professional, but I could tell he's like, "Ugh, I can't believe I gotta deal with this nonsense." A week
You don't
later,
want
I
to
get
deal
a
with
call
this
from Angie
nonsense.
saying, "We need to talk." I'm thinking she's going to try to bury the hatchet.
The we need to talk
turns out her
speech.
paranoia was at max, and she says, "I know you keep stalking me, and if you don't stop, I'll be forced to take legal action." At first, I made her neutral, saying, "Ange, I'm not stalking you or harassing you or quite frankly care what you do." But she is adamant, saying, "You think I'm making this up? You think I'm crazy? No, I got f***ing witnesses." I said, "Listen, I'm not calling you crazy, but calling the cops on Valentine's Day when you see me holding hands with another girl is a little cray-cray." Then she starts threatening my career.
Crazy girls be having the best
"You know,
box,
if I file
though.
charges against you, you'll never be a cop."
They have the best box.
Snaps to sarcasm mode. I'm like, "Damn, girl, I didn't think 6.5 inches was enough to lose your mind over, and yet here we are." Now, I know I'm a god at f***ing, but you're gonna have to find a new prophet, okay? Whole hand Ange. And guys, to this day, I have never seen someone so angry. She couldn't even form words. She just sat there shaking, going, That's when I knew it was time to dip. About a month later, I get a call from my friend Nora, who just so happens to be Angie's roommate. Nora invites me over her place, and I'm like, "Is this a trap?" She's like, "No, Angie's gone for the weekend, so it's just me here." I'm like, "Oh, all right." So I go over, and we're hanging out for a bit. When she casually mentions, "You know, I found your schedule at Angie's desk." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Here, this is your schedule, right?" And I'm looking at it going, holy shit.
Yeah, this bitch
Angie
crazy.
broke into my place.
Ange is
like,
crazy.
"What are you talking about?" I said, "Because one day I came home and the kitchen window was open." I go to my roommate and I'm like, "Jake, why did you open the kitchen window? You know, it's busted and super hard to close." "I didn't know."
Yo, bro, I gotta say it though. Crazy box be some of the best box you'll ever experience in your life. It's just something about them crazy chicks. Like, it's not good long term, but short term, bro. I see why he was messing with Ange. Whole hand Ange. Whole hand Ange. That is a wild nickname, bro.
Bro, you're the only one here, and it's not like we got robbed because our laptops and TV are still here. But little did I know someone did break in because that same day my schedule was missing off my wall. That's when Nora says, also, I probably should have told you this sooner, but one day I caught Ange next to your car. Wait, what? I was heading over your place at night when I caught Ange bent over by your car. I asked what she was doing, but she just played dumb. I'm like, God damn it, because someone keyed my car. I just thought it was some drunk asshole, not some crazy bitch. Now, luckily, I didn't have any
that would piss me off.
Ange, and thought it was all behind me. That wasn't until about a year later when I was working at Bed Bath & Beyond. I had recently threw up my lower back and was super depressed, just unloading boxes, when I get a phone call from my old roommate, Jake. Jake is like, hey, Steve, listen, I shouldn't be telling you this, but I just thought you should know. Ange is pregnant. Whoa, what?
Not your kid, though.
Actually, I was wondering,
it's not your kid, though, right?
Do you think it's yours? What? No, we haven't smashed in like 2 years. Oh,
okay.
I was getting worried.
You're good, you're good,
But
you're
Jake,
good.
You know what this means, right?
That you won't be a father?
Well, of course that, but it means she trapped someone.
What?
She trapped someone, Jake. She was so distraught over the fact I could just with her for over a year and have no feelings that she found a way to make someone stay forever.
What if she just forgot to take birth control?
She never forgets to take birth control, Jake! Besides, it's still effective even if you forget to take it for a few days. She trapped someone, and it could have been me, Jake. This crazy bitch could have ruined my life.
Bullet.
But instead, I gotta live.
Sheesh.
And see a sunrise one more time.
Glad I can make your day, Steve. Now go live, buddy.
I will, Jake. Did this bitch just send me a friend request?
Oh, yeah, that was a crazy X indeed. Crazy X indeed. Whole hand Ange. Put a whole hand up. No, that is a wild nickname. If that ever gets spread around the campus, you cook. You GG's. People never forget a hoe.